Hey everybody, the most important thing that we're missing and we're miscalculating in our bodies and in the health industry is a magnesium deficiency. So I'm going to talk about real quick how we're missing the mark on it, if some signs or symptoms that you're feeling could be just magnesium deficiency. And I've heard up to 80% of us in the United States are deficient in magnesium. And now consider that, I'm going to be saying this for probably the next 10 years. Magnesium deficiency can cause a cascade of effects within the body, negative effects. It's used in the role of our energy production. And let's start with the soil. It works its way all the way up through the food chain. So when we have magnesium deficient soil, now we're going to have bugs and insects naturally getting into those plants that weren't supposed to be there. So now we're using herbicides, pesticides, the Roundup. Now we're starting to see it just like the slip and fall layers that we're starting to see on TV. We're starting to see it for Roundup. Glyphosate is the chemical directly related to cancer. Now, when we have that magnesium deficient soil, we're having magnesium deficient plants. Our blood is red because it has iron in the middle of it. Plants, the chlorophyll, which makes it green, it's plant blood, if you will. The center is magnesium. That is how important, and just for you nerds out there, they're identical. The only thing different between chlorophyll, plant blood, and our blood is that iron to the magnesium molecule. Other than that, they are identical. So they literally work hand in hand with each other. So when we have that magnesium deficient soil, we have magnesium deficient fruits, vegetables. Now we're getting magnesium deficient food. We're not getting proper energy. The enzymes, everything else is not going to work properly within our body. And we're going to just age quicker. We're going to start feeling weaker, have less energy. Let's talk about some quick symptoms. And you can get a lot deeper into each of these topics, but I'm just going to say a couple just to start picking your brain. So if you have head things like sleep issues, anxiety, depression, if you have lung issues like asthma, if you have other brain maladies, degenerative maladies, we're talking about Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. If you have chest pain, chronic chest pains like angina, if you have clogged arteries, which we're taught in the medical system that once you get plaque buildup, that there's nothing you can do. When in fact, I challenge you guys, if you take a calcium pill, break it up into water and try stirring it up, not all of it is going to dissolve. Now, if you take magnesium and break it up in the water, it's going to dissolve because magnesium's role in the body is to keep that calcium dissolved in the body. So when we have clogged arteries, so we're talking about heart attacks, strokes, and you can see it plain as day on imaging modalities such as ultrasound in the neck, CAT scans of the heart, so on and so forth. So if you also suffer from gallstones, kidney stones, which is calcium buildup, not in all cases, but in most cases it's calcium buildup. We have a chronic deficiency of magnesium. And magnesium is arguably the most important vitamin to ever play its role within the body. And we're only using it in the ER when you have low blood serum levels. So the problem is we need a different test. So ask your doctor, find an open-minded doctor that will write you the prescription for a RBC, red blood cell magnesium test. So let's talk about this. This is how I'm going to wrap this video up. So when we use a magnesium serum, the levels, which I'm not going to talk about in this video, but I really want to, a recommended daily allowance or intake. But when we take that serum level, it's only measuring 1% of magnesium in the body. Does that sound accurate? If you're going to take any other number, any other statistic of anything, not even in health, not even, in our bodies, and you said we're only going to measure 1% of that, does that sound like it's going to give you an accurate reading? It's not, but we just take it and we get it with our other lab values because it comes out of the blood, right? But when we actually look at the RBC, the magnesium that clings onto our red blood cells, now we're looking at about 40%. Sounds much more accurate, right? So there are cases when you have this RBC magnesium test and you are chronically deficient, it shows. But guess what? The normal test that we get inside the ER and inside the hospital and at your PCP, at your house doctor, it's only going to be for the blood, not the red blood cells. Does that make sense? So you can be chronically deficient. Everything's going to show up normal on your blood work, and you're going to be prescribed a pill for your depression, your anxiety, your chest pain, your cholesterol, your high triglycerides, you name it. Chances are, if you're not using this as your first step towards a better health, is checking your magnesium levels and working on that and saturating your body in magnesium, then everything else is not going to fall into place properly. And it could tie down into you getting cancer or me getting cancer. You know, health problems don't discriminate. It just depends on what mineral, what vitamin you're missing in your body, and how that's going to play and start breaking down in your body and cause quicker aging and more degeneration in your body. And some genes and some other markers play into role with that. So that's how I want to wrap this up, is ask your doctor for the RBC magnesium test, not the serum magnesium test. Much more accurate. And you'll see if you compare the two, you're very likely to be chronically deficient or just deficient in the one versus normal values, which we're used to seeing. So many things get mistreated, misdiagnosed, and overlooked in general because we're missing out on the most important mineral in the body, most important one. And so it's amazing once we start getting magnesium in the body, how much energy we get. You literally wake up. And I've got some cool stories, some personal stories too, that I'm just not going to share at this time. So one thing that you can do, if you want to do it on your own, you don't need a doctor's prescription. You go to requestatest.com, and in the search bar you type in RBC or magnesium, and you'll come up. It's like $49, and what they do is they work independently with labs across the United States, like Quest, I think, is one, or maybe Concentra, things like this. And so what they do is you can go and get your blood drawn with that test, and that way you can start checking your own blood markers. So quick tip for you guys. It's cheap, it's definitely worth it, and work with your physicians to get a better understanding of why this magnesium test is better and why we should be getting it. And I think I explained that just a little bit here. So if you have any other questions or anything, just let me know. We can get into greater detail. All right, y'all, take care. See you later.